Good morning. Thank God it's Wednesday. Today is midweek, Wednesday, 25 September 2024. And of course, is Inside Nigeria. Your breakfast show on Leadership Television. My name is Unifedigobo, your host on the program. Today, we are just going to be reviewing four headline stories of some national newspapers, including Nigeria's most influential leadership. Leadership's leading story today says blame Buhari for current economic hardship, CBN. Blame Buhari for current economic hardship, CBN. Says Tinubu inherited battered economy. We are battling with repercussions of 35 trillion naira ways and means. Stakeholders raise concern over 27.25% interest rate. We are going to be seeing a tip of that leading story. Blame Buhari for current economic hardship, CBN. Says Tinubu inherited battered economy. We are battling with repercussions of 35 trillion naira ways and means. Stakeholders raise concern over 27.25% interest rate. We just move to page 4 where we see some parts of that story. Central Bank of Nigeria Governor CBN Olayemi Kadoso has blamed the current economic hardship on the poor handling of the nation's economy between 2015 and 2023, adding that present administration at the center inherited a highly distorted economy. The period Kadoso referred to was the two-term tenure of President Muhammadu Buhari. The CBN governor said the current administration came into a very loose money supply situation, in quotes. According to him, the past 8 years witnessed an incredible amount of pumping of liquidity into the system, a reason he said likely caused the spike in inflation rate and nationwide economic hardship. In 2015, in quote, money supply was about 19 trillion naira, and in 2023 it was 54 trillion naira. That is a huge increase, a very, very huge increase, and a substantial amount of that was through ways and means, Mr. Kadoso said at a press briefing to disclose the decisions of the September edition of Monetary Policy Committee meeting of the Apex Bank in Abuja. Of course, yesterday that meeting was beamed live across some major TV channels in Nigeria. That is some paragraphs of the leading story today on leadership. Blame Buhari for current economic hardship, CBN. Still on leadership newspaper, Justice Nyako hands off Kanu's trial. Dangote seeks end to petrol subsidy. The story is on page 19 of leadership. 5 police officers die in Zaria Kano auto crash. 86 million Nigerians living in multi-dimensional poverty. Action aid. And towards the masthead, we have Matawale denies links with bandits, demands proof. Of course, there has been a crisis, protracted crisis between the governor, the current governor of Zamfara State, and the Minister of State for Defense, Matawale. And in that ongoing development or developing story, Matawale denies links with bandits, demands proof. Of course, the governor has actually linked him to the bandits terrorizing the state. We move ahead in the business buzz of leadership. We have UNGA 79. Tinubu 6 permanent UN Security Council seat for Nigeria, Africa. UNGA 79 this is the 79th meeting of United Nations General Assembly. That's why it's called STEMmed UNGA 79. Tinubu 6 permanent UN Security Council seat for Nigeria, Africa. And above the masthead of leadership, federal government to launch new school curriculum next month. Federal government to launch new school curriculum next month. APC tackles Yaga Africa over Edoko report. This is also a developing story because Yaga Africa has already said that it just concluded Edoko's lacked integrity. And that takes us to the page 3 of leadership today, where we have our stand. Today's stand is on enough of Simon Ekpa's excesses. Enough of Simon Ekpa's excesses. Today's stand on leadership. From the stand, we move to the back page where we have Wednesday column with Olufunke Baruwa. Wednesday column with Olufunke Baruwa. Olufunke is writing on how to rig and win in quote elections in Nigeria. Of course, you have to take lessons from the expert when you log on to our column, how to rig, win in quote, in bracket, sorry, elections in Nigeria. From her column today, we conclude review of leadership newspapers. For continuation, log on to www.leadership.ng. From leadership, we move over to Vanguard newspaper. Vanguard says unemployment up by 5.3% as CBN hikes interest rate to 27.25%. Unemployment up by 5.3% as CBN hikes interest rate to 27.25%. Interest rate hike detrimental to investment, economic growth, experts. Cost of funds will be further exacerbated, Nachima president. Banks/financial institutions may witness more bad debt outcome. Unemployment reality on ground is far worse. Unemployment reality on ground is far worse. Renaissance Africa Company. Dangote refinery will reduce forest pressure. Cardoso. And beneath that we have Shetima, the VP representing Nigeria at the ongoing Hunger 79 meets OACP's strike. While Vice President Kashim Shettima left in a handshake with the Secretary General of Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States (OACPS) judges Rebelo Pinto Chikoto during a high-level meeting on the sidelines of the ongoing 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, United States. We need that reactions trade Dangote's call for petrol subsidy removal. The story is on page 20. Of course, there has been reactions to that call yesterday when it was reported with Dangote granting interview to Bloomberg calling for total removal of petrol subsidy. Edo poll, why INEC must investigate officials involved in rigging Yaga Africa. APC to group, don't turn yourself into parallel agency. Senate, inflation orders have tested society's fabric. In sports, why I can't buy Arsenal again. Dangote, of course, it was reported yesterday on Leadership Television, the reason why he can't buy Arsenal again. Of course, he said the reason because he had to complete his refinery. Beside the main headline story today, 2 million security personnel can protect over 200 million Nigerians, COAS, that is Chief of Army Staff. 2 million security personnel can protect over 200 million Nigerians. Hunger, US Chamber of Commerce votes $320 million for mortgage financing SMEs orders in Nigeria. That takes us to the stories above the masthead of Vanguard. Amidst rising poverty, money supply increases 62% to 107 trillion naira. Federal government welcomes Osman's ruling over Daily Trust inaccurate report on Samoa agreement. Deny ties with banditry by swearing on Quran. Matawale challenges Zamfara Governor General Gusau. Tinubu rejects bill seeking to raise retirement age of National Assembly staff. Of course, this finally put paid to the controversies over the National Assembly age retirement. Tinubu rejects bill seeking to raise retirement age of National Assembly staff. That concludes on page 9 of Vanguard. And that also concludes the review of front headline stories today on Vanguard. Today, midweek, September 25, 2024. For more, log on to the website of Vanguard, www.vanguardngr.com. From Vanguard, we move over to the next paper on our menu, and that is Daily Sun. Daily Sun says federal government issues flood alert in Benue, Adamawa, Anambra, Bayelsa. Also, 8 other states deploys personnel equipment. We have the picture of the publisher and the Senate President Godswill Akpabio yesterday on. Beneath that, alleged terrorism, Justin Yanko withdraws from Kanu's trial, returns case filed to CJ. Dangote explains why fuel subsidy must go. Samoa agreement, media of ombudsman orders Daily Trust to apologize to federal government. Tackles government for delay in explaining the agreement. Akpabio Kalu lament rising inflation, high cost of living. The story runs on page 28 of Daily Sun. And just beneath the masthead of Daily Sun, of course, it's also the business boss of the paper. Nigeria's unemployment rate increases to 5.3% in first quarter 2024. CBN raises interest rate by 50 basis points to 27.25%. Just beside the masthead, banditry, Matawale fights back, accuses Zamfara government of involvement. The story runs on page 4 of Daily Sun. There's no end in sight for the respite or the truce between the present governor and the former governor, who happens to be the Minister of State for Defense, Matawale. With that, we conclude front headline stories on Daily Sun. For more, log on to www.thesun.ng. From Daily Sun, we move over to The Guardian. Let's see what Guardian is leading with today, Wednesday. It says, growing jobless, self-employed Nigerians deem tax potential. Growing jobless, self-employed Nigerians deem tax potential. The story runs on page 6 of The Guardian. And as usual, we have the illustration beneath that leading story on The Guardian. Overview of the Nigerian labor market. We have the working age population in bracket, and arising from that, we have the labor force. We have the unemployed, which is about 5.3%. We have the employed part-time, 84%. And the employed, we have employed full-time, we have 73.2%. Then on the other side, we have not in the labor force. We have one not looking for work, 3.6%. Retired, 36.2%. Informal employment, 92.7%. Illustrations beneath the main headline story. Growing jobless, self-employed Nigerians deem tax potential. Of course, if you are, it follows that if you are not in the, if you don't fall into the bracket of the labor of the employed labor force, your tax, if you fall into the private and self-employed, the federal government cannot much harvest tax from the private sector or self-employed. Beneath that, Tinubu advocates multilateralism, permanent UNSC seat, debt forgiveness. Judge recuses self from Nnamdi Kanu's treason trial. Senate resumes, urges action on economic security challenges. 5,225 slain officers benefits cost police 15.6 billion naira in a year. NPR concerns over job cuts, food hike as CBN says nation not yet out of the woods. Dangote advocates total subsidy removal, Okupe disagrees. Police invite leader of October 1 #End Bad Governance Plan protest. PDP warns against alleged ploy to rig Ondo Guba poll. This is a story that continues on page 7 of The Guardian. And with that, we conclude front headline stories today on Guardian newspaper. For more, log on to www.guardian.ng. From The Guardian, we move over to the last paper we have in our menu today, and that is the Punch. Punches with subsidy. Federal government may spend 236 billion naira monthly on imported Dangote petrol. Subsidy. Federal government may spend 236 billion naira monthly on imported Dangote petrol. Marketers orders bank Dangote on subsidy removal. Neman leaves over 50 million liters of Dangote petrol. New interest rates may worsen bad loans, OPS. New interest rates may worsen bad loans. That is the organized private sector, OPS. Kanu court drama as judge steps down. Federal government explains minimum wage July 29 back pay. Infant, 3 others die in Bono Kenu accident. Works begin on federal government's 2025 budget. Beside the masthead of the Punch, Hunger 79, Tinubu seeks debt forgiveness for Nigeria. Banditry, Zamfara governor reports defense minister to NSA. CBN bank sell $9 billion as naira weakens to 1,670 naira per dollar. CBN bank sell $9 billion as naira weakens to 1,670 naira per dollar. Edo, APC dismisses poll fraud, police recover stolen viewers. That concludes review of front headline stories on today's Punch. For more, log on to www.punchng.com. It's also on this note we've come to the end of today's Inside Nigeria. My name is Winifred Igwebo, your host on the program. Don't forget to join us same time, same station for another fresh edition of the program. Also, join us on this same station for news on the hour. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio.